American troops train and take part in one of the military's largest and most respected competitions. This week on Truth, Duty, Valor, join members of the Armored Division of the Canadian military as they qualify, train, and compete for the coveted Can-Am Cup. Welcome to Wainwright, Alberta, home to the firing range of Squadron B of the Lord Strathcona's Horse. The Lord Strathconas are one of two regular force armored regiments in Canada. They have a history that dates back to when the original unit was established in 1900 to go fight in the Boer War. Today, the Strathconas are a mission essential unit, providing armored reconnaissance and firepower to Canadians deployed to the world's hotspots.
824.
My nickname is Shaky. Reason being, when I first started the gunner's course in June, we got simulators. So I was in the simulator, and you get a lead lock and a laser and a trigger to fire off the guns.
So if you're traversing, then I can get you to shut it off so I can come off 13 rounds? Yeah, just get the ready rock full.
I've pretty much wanted to be a tank troop leader since I was around 6. And now that I'm actually in command of 180 tons of fire-spitting metal, I'm pretty happy. And I convey that at pretty much every opportunity. There's no job in the world I would rather have than being a tank troop leader.
Great. You got no questions, get on this tank and get it ready to go. You secure all the exterior equipment.
I am the crew commander of the tank. From that position, I have to pick out targets and decide what ammunition I'm going to use against it, depending on the threat. From there, I just issue my fire orders, and the crew carries on with their actions. We engage the targets and destroy them.
I never wanted to become a gunner in a tank. It's just something they put me into. I think tanks are big and smelly and loud, but I'm enjoying this a lot more than I'd ever imagined.
He's not going to know which one's got to be torqued.
I know what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to stare.
What compelled me to go to the Strathconas was, well, I was in an armored reserve unit, and I'd always been in an armored reserve unit, so I wanted to stay with the trade that I already more or less knew. I just transferred to the regular force from the reserves about 6 months ago. I spent 12 years in the reserves before that.
The Can-Am Tank Challenge was established as an annual competition to sharpen the skills of Canadian and American armored personnel. The Can-Am actually has its roots in the prestigious NATO Tank Gunnery Competition, known as the CAT, or Canadian Army Trophy. CAT was conceived in 1977, but after Canada withdrew from Germany at the end of 1991, the competition essentially died. It was revived in 1997 and renamed the Can-Am Cup.
The knowledge they're gaining here by training as basic gunners, as members of a crew and members of a troop, the troop is the building block on the battlefield for tank formations. We have to maneuver in support of each other. We have to be able to put the steel on target as quickly and accurately as possible. The competition, all that adds to it is a sense of urgency or a sense of purpose to what they're doing. Instead of just plywood targets out there, they now realize that how quickly and effectively they're able to engage that target is going to determine their success or failure in the Can-Am competition. They have to be able to do it and get the steel downrange and on target as quickly as they possibly can. Because it's the same on a battlefield. If you're slow, if you can identify the target quickly, but you're slow to engage it, then odds are he's going to have rounds incoming on you faster than you could have rounds outgoing to engage and destroy him.
What's happening there right now, the reason why the shirt's going back left and right, there's a main storage bin, which holds 39 rounds, and to access all the holes for the ammo, Got to swing a turret left and right to get in there.
The aim of the competition is straightforward: to hone the gunnery skills of armored personnel and foster closer ties between Canadian and American armies. In the 4 competitions that have occurred since 1997, Canada has won 3. This may be surprising since the Americans have newer tanks and better guns. But as in any competition, it all comes down to training and determination. This year, the Americans are hungry for a win.
Can-Am will be the 5th iteration of the shoot, and it has evolved and changed throughout the years, but stayed more or less true to itself as a sort of interoperability competition between 2 tanker nations, if you will. There's been 4 previous to this. Canada has won 3 of the 4. We've won 2 here on our own soil and 1 down in Boise, Idaho. And the Americans came up here and won 1. And again, all the competitions, if I could stress, have been incredibly close. It's come down in almost all those cases to a single target difference between the team that was more successful than those who had lost the competition.
Within the regiment, there have been several preliminary competitions to determine who will represent Canada in the Can-Am. Today, we join the teams as they finalize who will participate in the big showdown in Idaho. The teams head out to do some qualifying runs on the firing ranges.
Get the 39 round bit. Only hash in the 39 round bit. If you can get 1 box of coax for now, I'll be happy. If you have time to get 30, get 30.
We're going to load a certain amount of hash rounds, certain amount of sabre rounds, certain boxes of certain amount of coax for the machine gun.
This one is practice hash. Hash is a chemical round, which means it doesn't depend on velocity like the salvo does. Basically what it is, you just shoot it at it. Just as it gets the target, it creates a secondary explosion. That's what pushes through. Whereas the salvo, which is the ones that you'll see has a pointy end on it, it uses kinetic energy, so it just punches right through the arm. Those are the 2 types we're using.
Next on Truth, Duty, Valor, Canada's tank troop take to the range. The history of the Canadian armored regiments is long and distinguished, dating back to World War I, when the first Churchill tanks made their appearance. Throughout the Second World War, Korea, and particularly in recent peacekeeping operations, armored regiments such as the Strathconas have been an integral and valued part of the Army.
Well, there's a lot riding on this. We have a history of winning at the Can-Am Cup. So far, there's been 4 competitions since its inception in 1997. We've got, out of the 5 tanks, the one on the far right is a spare, and the other 4, there's going to be 6 students each. And there's going to be 1 sergeant or warrant officer who's an instructor gunnery, and they're the people that are actually going to be assessing them from the commander's hatch.
Thanks.
These guys, they know that the Cup, or the Can-Am, it's in Boise 1 year, and then it comes to Canada in another year for shooting the actual competition. These guys enjoy knowing that they're using an old piece of equipment and taking on the M1, which is a new piece of equipment and up to date, and kicking their ass, to be quite honest. They love it. They will continue to do it as long as they can. And hey, all the power to them. That's what makes a good competition.
The Canadian C2 Leopard tank is an updated version of the original German 1A5 tank developed in the early 1980s. Armed with a 105mm gun with a killing range of 2,500 meters, the Leopard can use both thermal imaging and laser sights to find targets on the battlefield. It is also equipped with 2 12.7mm machine guns, which are used to engage attacking troops. The Leopard has a top speed of 70 kilometers an hour and weighs in at over 62 tons. The troops are getting ready and they're pumped for the day's qualifying process.
Look straight out from that, you'll see a bank of coax targets on the left flank.
The targets today, we're using cardboard or plywood targets. Most of them are head-on tanks, so it's a large square with a small square on top to give that representation. The second target that we're using out there is just a normal man-sized target. It's pretty much anatomical all the way around, and at 600 meters it starts to get a little small. However, using a machine gun, we can use a large burst of ammunition to get the effect that we want. There's a third style target out on the range, and it's the hard targets. They are old military vehicles, Centurion, Sherman. There might be some old trucks out there, as well as tank turrets from old vehicles. And we use those just to keep the confidence up in the crew that they are actually hitting the targets they're aiming at.
Man, I thought he was coming right into my arms yesterday on the pad. This morning too. Loading empty ammo and somebody fired.
You're talking to me, you chew bricks. Either way, you're gonna lose some teeth. I've only been in a year and a half. I suppose it's been a year and a half. So I got the 2 PCF psych. I'm also a driver and now a gunner, and I also want to command us to be qualified loader. So it's pretty fortunate that I'm going to Canada.
Yeah, you, Parkinson.
Yeah, whatever. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. One shot, one kill.
Whatever.
What?
You know what? You gotta get them in there with a camera so we can see you shaking around in there.
The tank teams are qualifying by firing at stationary targets on the range. For this part of their training, they're focused more on accuracy than on speed. Both tank commanders and gunnery instructors carefully watch the firing. Each shot is important for both competition and on the battlefield. The gunners have a lot of stress. Their marksmanship is critical. As the day wears on, the firing never ceases. Round after round is hammered down range and the results are tallied. Crew commanders and gunnery instructors continuously discuss each volley of fire.
So that sounds good to me. I like that SOP.
The results are a closely guarded secret. Nothing is assured until all the firing runs are complete. No one knows who is going to be on the team and in what position until both day and night firing is complete. Spent shell casings abound and crewmen are continuously picking them up and ensuring they are returned for proper disposal. Even the Leopard tank's coaxial machine guns are tested and measured for accuracy against targets. Everyone has to be at their best for the Can-Am Cup. Next on Truth, Duty, Valor, our qualifying gunners feel the heat on the night firing range. Things get trickier after the sun goes down. And these tankers now have to prove their capabilities on the firing range after dark. To help locate targets, the tankers use thermal imagery systems, rumored to be superior to that of the American M1A1 imagery system. Bottom line, this device could help them win the cup.
What we're doing tonight is completing the night firing portion of the gunner's course. And what we're doing here is utilizing the thermal capability that we have on the Leopard in order to ensure that our gunners are capable of fighting 24 hours a day, because the modern battlefield doesn't stop for dinner or sleep or anything else.
What we're aiming at down there is old turrets from broken up vehicles and stuff like that. So they're just filled with charcoal and heated up so that we can use our thermal signature, the thermal on it.
I did fairly well, I think. I got a first round hit with a Hesh round on a moving target, which is pretty hard to do. And the warrant said that was good shooting, so I think I did pretty well.
It's harder during the evening to pick up the heat signature. I find it's just harder to pick up the targets. So it's a little harder. There's more concentration involved. You take your time a little more.
Today, these participants find out if they have what it takes to qualify as a gunner for the Can-Am Cup. It's a big decision, one that could mean another win for Canada.
I'm in the loader seat now because they've, after the shoot the other day, for the last 3 days, they've discovered who's the strongest gunners, and they went with 2 stronger gunners for the Can-Am team. But we're all a team. I mean, the gunner can't shoot if there isn't a loader.
We had a couple changes yesterday within the Can-Am team. Now loading. You go to win, so I mean, you know, you put your best foot forward, so to speak. If you want to win, I mean, some guys, I mean, you just, pride can't get in the way. You take a step back and let someone in who can hit the target and take home trophy for it.
This is the battle run, where the gunners fire on the move. Targets are set up to mimic a real-life situation, testing a troop's speed, accuracy, and shooting capabilities.
We're going to set up the array so that the array is the same. Okay? I want to try to use this time now so that we go down, we shoot the battle run, and if you find anything really funny or the gunner wasn't comfortable with it, we turn around and we shoot the same run again. Okay, so that he gets more confidence in the system and himself.
Now that the teams and positions have been selected, the Canadian tankers begin training and honing their crew's accuracy and skills. They have to be ready for every condition and possible problem when they go head-to-head with the superior American M1A1 tanks in Idaho. We'll be right back with Canada kicking armored ass. Welcome to Boise, Idaho, home to one of the best tank ranges in all of North America, and the 3rd Battalion of the 116th Cavalry Regiment of the Boise, Idaho National Guard. Like the Canadians, there are 4 American tank teams that have been selected to compete for the Can-Am Cup. We followed one American crew throughout the training and competition. They're taking the Can-Am Cup very seriously.
I've shot Top Gun in 2001, and we shot top tank platoon this year. And that's why we're representing 2nd Battalion, 116th Armored Brigade in this year's Can-Am shoot.
It's a pretty big deal to us. I mean, I mean, anytime you get on a tank, and I mean, if we go to combat, this is what we're going to be doing. So this is, this determines whether I come home or not, so it's a pretty big deal to most of us.
Yeah, we want to win. We've been training as hard as time allows, but most of these guys are teachers and police officers and other things in civilian life, and they've taken 2 more weeks out of their schedule to come and do this. So there's varying levels of experience from first time after coming back from training to shoot a tank to, you know, 8th or 9th year shooting a tank. But these guys are National Guard soldiers that have other jobs in civilian life before they come out and do this.
The M1A2 is the backbone of the American Armored Forces and was initially produced in the early 1980s. The newer versions incorporate a lethal 120mm smoothbore gun, which can kill targets up to 3,000 meters. The fire control system possesses both thermal imaging and laser range-finding devices. Weighing in at over 70 tons, the M1A1 is still capable of an amazing 67 kilometers per hour speed using their jet engine. There are 2 days of training before the big day. During this time, the teams will be taught the rules of engagement, perform maintenance on the tanks, and partake in some intense firing on the range. It's the day before the competition, and the Canadian troops are still having equipment trouble.
People have been kind of playing musical tanks so far. We've had a lot of unexpected equipment problems, and we're still kind of working through that. There's some faults that are on the vehicles now that we're just going to have to accept and just work through the faults. A lot of us have to aim half a target to a full target below the actual target in order to hit it. Otherwise, the rounds go high, and we don't have the time or the resources to fix that before tomorrow morning when the competition kicks off. People think reservists, they think kind of weekend warriors and not kind of up to the same level as regular force. In this case, I have a huge amount of respect for our opponents in this case, Alpha Company of the 3rd Battalion of the 116th Cavalry Regiment, because they are, first of all, they're drawn from the brigade as a whole, which is about 4,500 people, because it's a complete armored brigade. They got the best guns, at least for the commanders and gunners. They pulled the best people out of that entire brigade to compete against us.
It's competition day, and each team will shoot twice, day and night. A coin toss decides who begins. The Canadians win it and decide to let their American counterparts go first. The teams are judged using 2 methods, electronically by the tower and manually on the ground by master gunners from each country. Results are not released until all hits are tallied. Everyone seems nervous, anxious, and ready to fire.
So, obviously, the call for fire engagement. Provide early warning systems to battalion. Ensure Bradleys are identified and not engaged. All right, platoon mission. Alpha Company, 2nd Platoon, defends in sector no later than 06/10/30, November 03, to destroy attacking MRB and CRB.
Today's the day. Today's the day. Everything's ready to go. We're bore sighted. Our thermals work. Our auxiliary sight is on. We're loaded with rounds and ready to rock.
Hey, sir! Hey! Make sure you zero your machine guns before you establish set. We are. Roger.
The Americans move up into their firing positions. All eyes are on the tanks and the targets. Over the commands barked on the radios, the constant hammering of the M1's guns can be heard. The pace is frantic and the targets jump up and down in gunners' sights. Did they miss? Or was it a clean hit?
On the way. Identified middle tank.
Good range. Fire.
On the way.
kick-ass job. We pulled up on top of the berm and the targets popped up, and we'd go from left to right and just picked them off one at a time, and you know, killed all of our troops, all of our troop targets, and hit all of our tank targets.
We did great. It's going to be hard for the Canadians to beat us if they can.
Awesome. They did pretty well.
They did well?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
I expected that, actually.
Yeah.
And but I'm sure we'll do better.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Americans are saying they did pretty well.
That's unfortunate.
Well, not good enough then?
No.
You're feeling pretty confident?
I'm pretty sure we're taking the cup home with us.
Then all you guys do is eat.
And drink. This is what we're defending. And when we win it tomorrow, we're drinking beer from it.
So we can go down and check them. Drive a little quicker to them.
While the American troops celebrate the day's shoot competition, the Canadian and American master gunners go to the range to count targets.
In the spirit of competition, and for their sake, I hope they do good, because they're going to have to.
Often the tank rounds will hit the target, but not knock it down. The only way to clearly confirm a hit is to physically check each target after the shoot. Both American and Canadian master gunners assess each target to verify whether it was a hit. With the incredible marksmanship of each team, one round can make all the difference in the overall final count for the competition.
Another one, Roger. Can you read off what you...
Well, I'm focused. I get in the tank, I start dancing, and I start getting a little excited. We get a little goofy. The stunt time kills me. I'd rather be out there shooting than waiting and watching. So let's get this good thing going and let the better team win.
And you have a good luck charm picture?
I have a good luck charm picture. My fiance is Laura. I have her picture up in my gunner's control panel, and give her a little tap every so often, make sure everything's good to go. And if I get really pissed off, I have a good stare at her, and she talks, gives me some advice.
That's the section. So the beaten zone. So you hit one, that's it.
Now that the Americans have fired, the Canadians mount their Leopards and prepare to go to the firing line. A tangible tension is in the air.
Keep your weapons oriented towards the enemy. Destroy any remaining element of the CRP. Attack, attack, attack.
In our tactics there is after we fire our initial engagements, we'll back down into what we call mask position, where only the gun sights are exposed, so we can still see targets, but they can't see us. The Canadians, because of their sight differences, will pull up and stay up the entire time they're engaging, and they'll only back down when they're completely done engaging and ready to come offline.
flushed, still floating. That's what I was. Did you hit anything? Bounced my head off the endoscope.
Where's Langridge?
Danny.
Blocker.
Market garden.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Puking again.
Me too.
Good shooting.
Fired 14 rounds, 12 targets. Shot ion too. It's good to go.
I think we may have missed one tank target, but I think we got all the coax targets.
Yeah, we got all the coax.
Yeah, there was one tank target, like a big one right close, just to the right of church, that I thought you were going to take, and then you never did, and by the time I went over, I think it was going down. Did you take one that was just to the right of church?
I took one right at church, and
then near range,
2 rounds.
Third range band? There was one that popped up just to the right of church and the third range band.
No, third range band. I was worrying about stuff in the near ground.
Okay, we may be shy one target then.
So pissed off in there, it's not even funny.
Try a couple rounds from the SLCS.
Yeah, tonight.
We had a pretty decent run. We got 19 rounds left for the night shoot, so we got to make them count. We're going to go one short. Everyone else is going to have 5. We're going to have 4. I think we should be on par with the Americans, and hopefully the night stuff will give us the edge.
They get off to a better start. I think they had all 10 targets to start off. They shot the first band, and I think they hit like 3
on the first band.
First band on the first
2400?
position. Yeah, I think they got 2 or 3.
I guess that's the advantage of the 120.
The Americans suspect the Canadian equipment is superior to their own, specifically the Leopard's thermal capabilities. But their resolve doesn't waver. They anticipate a good fight as they wait for their orders.
Tanks, try move out. Driver clear, fire.
On the way.
He's fired. Troops.
Did real well. We went out there, we got to wing for the first tank, and then we went up there and we had to shoot 2 targets. We jumped up there, shot both of them real fast, had a good foresight and everything, come back down, and we jumped off and winged for the 3rd tank.
Good to go. We're gonna win. I think we'll be all right this time. I think we're going to put some hurt on our friends to the north. So we're good to go. We're good to go.
Hoping their thermal imagery systems give them an extra edge in the dark, the Canadians wait for tonight's fight.
3 or 4. He's smiling at us. I'll get lemon water. I don't know if you hope. Now he's a little bit. Oh, yeah. Nice that I didn't buy it. Good shooting, boys. It's 5.
Okay, you got 2 more, I think.
They still up?
That one's up. Yes. That one's down.
Targets are going down. I show 5. Can't these 2 bullets, boys? I show 5 hits.
I got 5 hits too.
5 hits. How many shots, Darren?
Sir, you asked me halfway through. I wasn't paying attention.
Find out how the Canadians finished next on Truth, Duty, Valor.
2-2 and 2-3 to provide cover from our current position. 2-1, I'll move now, report when set, 2 Alpha, 2-1 acknowledged. Remember weapons strike.
2-1, roger, all safe.
There's 2 shots. Here we go.
Alpha down, I got the one up.
3. How many hits?
A 2-1 Alpha Mash. A 1 quarter, 1, 0, 0 out. A 2-1 Bravo, a mash. A half belt, a 0, 0, 0 out. Charlie mash, half, 1, 0, 0 out.
2-9 Victor Alpha reports enemy dismounting. Make him count out. You can do it. 7 rounds left. Hit them all. 5 hits. So 6 rounds rather. 5 hits, 6 targets. We opened up, we had 20 left and you had 19? Yeah. You guys had 5 hits in the first band.
This is more nerve-wracking than Final Thought.
Not more than that.
Oh yeah, I can't watch. I want to just go and
okay.
Watch TV downstairs.
Honey, I can't watch.
Tell me who scores.
Charlie mash, 2 main, over.
Come on.
That's how main goes.
There we go.
That one's down. Got it.
Target.
Night shoot went very well. We got 3 out of 4 sections of infantry. Probably not the 4th one. We didn't see it until too late. And we got for sure 14 hard targets, which is pretty good. There were only maybe 1 miss, maybe 2. But this competition is very close, I think. They don't tell us, of course, but just based on talking with my American counterparts. So it's going to be down to, we're either going to have the same number of targets, whoever has more rounds left, or it's going to be a 1 or 2 target thing. Either way, so that's for that.
Awesome. I killed all those targets.
No, you did good out there. We did really good out there.
There'll be a lot of editing on that one.
We drink and we also wait for the final results. See who won.
Get in there tomorrow morning and we'll find out who won the competition.
American and the Canadian master gunners go down to the range again to count hits. Each country uses different types of ammunition, making it easy to identify hits per country.
Oh, it's clean.
As all targets are examined and hits counted, the troops gather to wait for the final results.
You got the piece of paper.
Opportunities like Can-Am, as was the case with the Canadian Army Trophy in Germany, are rewards for soldiers. It gives them a reason to train, a purpose, and gives them something to look forward to. Because the Army is supposed to be, my acronym that I always use with my troops is work hard, play hard. And they do work hard. The guys work hard every day, maintain the equipment that we have now, keeping it serviceable and fit to fight, as well as the numerous operational deployments we've had. They're working hard. Our commitment as leaders to those troops is to provide them the opportunity to play hard. And we can do that by getting some good training out of things like the Can-Am competition, where the troops train for gunnery all year, and their sense of purpose is the top troop, that troop, those 4 tanks that demonstrate that they are the most proficient in gunnery, earn the right to go down to Boise, Idaho and represent our country in a competition, a gunnery competition, where they will further hone their skills and have the opportunity to exchange ideas with tankers from another nation.
I want to say that the competition was extremely close, and we were down counting holes, and
You had one team on 2 lanes over here and the other team, and there was no way to tell. And things were really strange the way it worked. But the competition this year was extremely close, and the Canadians were leading after the day phase. The results for this year's competition are as follows. Out of a possible score of 52, Alpha Company, 2nd of the 116th Cav Brigade, scored 36. Out of a total possible score of 52, Lord Strathcona's horse, Royal Canadians, scored 33. Yeah. So the Can-Am Cup comes back to Idaho.
Yeah. It was well earned, Jason. Congratulations. Good shoot, dog.
Competition's over, and we found out the Americans won 36-33.
The guys are pretty upset, pretty disappointed. We thought we shot better than we did. There's a lot of issues that didn't get resolved, I believe. And when you're up 5 rounds and you lose by 3, it's a kick in the butt. So our guys are a little upset.
How are you feeling?
I'm pissed. I'm totally upset. We thought our shoot, with our thermal sight, we thought we were gonna have them night and day, and they hit everything and we didn't. It was disappointing. You know, you can blame the equipment, you can blame the guys, you can blame the crew, you can blame the tank, but when it all comes down to the end of the day, it's the guy pulling the triggers.
Our equipment is fabulous. We have an awesome fire control system, and you know, just little things happen. Things happen here and there, and there's not much you can do about it. You just got to work through it and do the best you can. And we all did the best we could. And obviously, Americans did a little better than us.
Actually, I was extremely happy with my crew and the troops' performance. We shot well. They shot well, and plus, I'll be the first one to take my hat off and say they did a great job. If we ever meet on the battlefield and they're on our left or right, I'd be glad to have them there.
I see the Can-Am, and basically it takes place in 2 phases. And just as an outsider looking in for the last couple, they're very competition-oriented when they first arrive in Boise or when the Americans come up here to shoot the competition. They're focused on perfecting their skills, getting their equipment squared away so it's technically ready to go for the competition. And they're very much looking inward amongst themselves to form a good, solid team and be successful in the competition. The moment that competition is finished, and before the results are even announced, those 2 teams are no longer 2 separate teams. They're a group of tankers who have just gone through a great experience, a training opportunity, unlike any other, in my opinion, because it's put the 2 nations onto a common battlefield and had them work and be able to see each other's tactics, techniques, and procedures. Those guys bond together. There's handshaking, there's exchanging of gifts, and there's a great sense of camaraderie that develops, and they realize, despite the border, despite the different upbringings, different nationalities, that the common bond is they're all tankers.
Though they were opponents on the firing ranges here in Idaho, the competition has helped bring them closer together. They've shared hardships and victories, and in the end, it has strengthened the bond between 2 armies. They are 2 nations, but also 2 friends. An important distinction for allies who may have to work together on dangerous deployments overseas in the future.
These guys are good. They got some good equipment, good leadership, and you know, a good bunch of guys. I'd go to war with them any day.